Alright, y'all, we're back. And we've already added the potatoes. Now we're going to take a tablespoon of all-purpose flour. And another tablespoon of all-purpose flour. And then we're going to mix that right around in our veggies. Make us a little bit of a roux there. Okay. So it's going to dry up like this. And now we can go ahead and start adding our turkey stock. Alright, our turkey stock is cold. So it's going to cool down these vegetables a little bit and slow the cooking process. Alright. That's what you want. Just like that. Okay. So this is going to come back to a boil once the turkey stock heats up. And when it does, y'all, we'll really be on the roll. Right? So let's discuss a few of the other ingredients that we have today. Alright, so I like to use a good garlic and herb seasoning. Again, like I said, we don't want it to taste like Thanksgiving. We want to utilize we're going to do a poultry season. We want to utilize our leftovers, but we don't want it to be like, okay, I can clearly tell that this is the same turkey from Thanksgiving, right? You still want it to be good. You still want it to, the flavors to, come together and to blend well and for it to be enjoyable for everybody, right? So, y'all see that I'm putting a lot of, this is a no salt garlic herb seasoning right here. So y'all see I'm putting all of my flavor in before I ever even touch the salt. Okay, I still haven't put salt in this yet. Okay, and the point of that is so that way we can add everything, add all of the flavor that we need to add before we add salt. And if you don't know, flavor and salt are two different things. You can add flavor all day, but once you start adding salt, it can spoil a pot really quickly, and a lot of people don't realize that salt does not equal flavor. Okay, so I'm gonna turn up my heat a little bit to kind of help that come back to a boil. And once it comes back to a boil, it's going to thicken up a little bit or a lot. All right. But now so far we have that rosemary in there. We have that bay leaf. We got the dill. We got the poultry seasoning in there. We got the garlic and herb in there. Okay, so we're doing good on flavor, y'all. As far as flavor is concerned, we're doing just fine. All right. So I'm turning that up, letting it come back to a boil. It's going to thicken right up because of that flour. And this is what you will call a compound roux. But, yeah, you're just making a nice little, nice quick roux right at the bottom of your pot with your vegetables, okay? So, let that cook in there. Like so, like that. Shout out to my vegan sis, Tabitha Brown. But, y'all, this ain't vegan at all. This is real turkey we going in with. Real turkey meat, y'all. For sure. But yeah, so it's starting to thicken up. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's starting to thicken up. All right. And once I start to see some bubbles, we're going to go ahead and finish adding our ingredients. Okay. You just want to watch the amount of sodium and salt that you use. Okay, so right now I'm looking at my label for sodium content. So this is 3% sodium in here. I use a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. So see how it's starting to bubble? Right? Like that. That looks perfect. That looks great. I'm very happy with this. Right? I'm very, very happy with how this is coming out. It looks very smooth. I'm just going to put a few little splashes of Worcestershire sauce in there. Okay. like this. So boom, like this, right? Give it some color, give it some flavor. All right, y'all. So it's starting to bubble. Oh, perfect. Okay, that's perfect. So now we're going in with a little bit of our leftover. Uh, we have leftover. I'm gonna turn it down now. Turn it down a little bit now. We have a little bit of our leftover potato broccoli soup. All right, and it was frozen. So we're gonna add a little bit of that in there to help with our sauce. Okay, it was frozen, y'all, so it's gonna come together once it starts to heat up. All right. Okay, so like that. Shh. Okay, see, now it's starting to smooth out a little bit. But yeah, so like I said, we use all leftovers around here. We do not throw anything away. So I had a little bit of extra potato and broccoli soup. And the flavors mesh very well as far as pot pie is concerned. So what did I do? Add it right in. Okay, make sure this sauce is nice and flavorful and smooth. Okay, make sure it goes down smooth, right? So like I mentioned in the first video, what's gonna happen is the peas and the turkey are going to be the last two things that we add because they're already cooked. When I added the soup just now, I forgot that there was chicken in it. So this is going to be a chicken turkey pot pie. Okay. Um, I believed that I froze only the soup part, but I remember there were a few pieces of chicken left. But that's fine. It still goes really well with it. Chicken and turkey are poultry, and we went ahead and put that poultry seasoning in there. And look at how smooth this is, y'all. Look. I love that. I love that for us, right? I love that for us. Okay. So once I add the turkey, I'm going to see if I want to add a little more of this. Don't be scared of this, y'all. This is a part of using your leftovers. Just knowing what to expect once you thaw out your ingredients, but just always labeling them well and knowing what it is that you're using. You are good to go, right? No problems. But look at how gorgeous that is already. Now imagine that with the turkey meat and the peas in there, right, y'all? Okay. Yes, indeed. I'm gonna add a little bit more because we have two pot pies today. So with that being said, we're gonna need a little more liquid. Okay, now look at how that's coming together. Look at how that's coming together, and no leftovers had to be wasted or thrown away, and we have a brand new delicious meal that we are preparing. All right, y'all really think I be playing about these leftovers, but I don't. Okay, you save so much money if you really just check how much money you waste, grocery money, because you're so afraid of leftovers. I also, y'all, I just uploaded a TikTok, and I uploaded it here on YouTube so y'all can see it, how to properly freeze and store your leftovers so that way they're usable. Okay, a lot of times people have the idea that leftovers are disgusting because everybody seems to leave their leftovers in the fridge for long periods of time. No, you have to plan ahead. When I'm cooking, I'm already thinking ahead, and I'm thinking, all right, what am I going to use? What else can I use this for? What other meal can I use this for? And I don't waste any time. Okay, the day that I make whatever I make, the original dish that I make, that same day I'm I'm storing my leftovers and I'm freezing them and I'm making them available to me for the next time that I want to use them. Okay, so when I say use your leftovers, I'm not talking about those leftovers that have been sitting in the fridge for 25 days. No, not those leftovers. I'm talking about the ones that you took your time and labeled and froze and prepared, yourself to eat, right? That's what I'm talking about. Now, y'all also have to remember, that's why it's important, especially when working with leftovers, not to season until the very end. This was Thanksgiving turkey, which means it is already flavored and it does have some salt. So that's why we don't salt nothing until the very end to make sure, guess what, that we're good on seasoning and that we don't over salt and that the flavor meshes well. Okay, now I purposely left this frozen because, like I said, the turkey itself is already cooked, so I don't want to run the risk of okay, y'all, break it up. I don't want to run the risk of overcooking the turkey by any means. So that's why I'm putting this in frozen. So once it melts down, all it has to do is hit the oven and it's not a lot of overcooking that's happening. Okay? So you got to be mindful about all of those things when using leftovers. But one thing that I can say is using leftovers is fun. Like, it's fun to like use your imagination and be creative and figure out different things to do with your leftovers, while at the same time saving money, right? So I don't know, you can't beat it with a stick if you ask me. All right, so here we go. Now we just turn the heat up a little bit to let that melt down, and I'm going to put a lid on this and allow that to come to a boil and melt down, right, while I clean up over here. Let's put that last piece in there. Okay, so boom, that's my Thanksgiving. That was the last of my Thanksgiving turkey, right? It's called flavor, guys. Flavor, building flavor on flavor, right? We're adding depth, we're adding complexity of flavor, all of that by using leftovers. All right, if you ever eaten any type of traditional French restaurant and you get the soup, guess what you're getting? You're getting a whole bunch of different leftovers that they have prepared, in such a way that you would never know that they're leftovers. Trust me, guys, I've worked in the restaurant industry for many years, and the restaurant industry is one of the top industries that know how to really budget. And it taught me, because first of all, I grew up, I did not grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. Okay, we lived in the hood, and we had to use what we had. Okay, so there was no such thing as throwing away any food growing up. And then when I became a chef and when I started working in kitchens, I realized the same thing was the case in restaurants. Your head chef or your manager will come to you and tell you in a minute, oh no, we're going to keep that, save that, label it, put it in the freezer. We're going to use this and we're going to use that. And if you have a good chef, like a good boss like I did, they're so creative. A lot of my bosses were really creative. They knew their flavors. They knew what went well with what. And when they were done with those leftovers, you would never know. Okay, and so that is one of the reasons why I really love leftovers. One of the reasons why I really just kind of cape for it, because it's a big deal. Number one, not to waste food, because there's so many people who can't afford to, buy food. Okay, so we're gonna let that boil up, and I'm gonna clean up my area here. Right, so I think we're pretty much done with that stock, and I'm gonna reset here and get the pie crust out and get that ready. All right, so I want to show y'all something real quick. Once I finish putting this up, I want to show y'all something. All right, this is what I want to show show y'all this. So the potatoes that I cut for the pot pie, let me turn this that way so y'all can see. So the potatoes that I diced up, the small potatoes that I diced up for the pot pie, this is the scraps from that. Y'all see that? Can y'all see it? All right. What does this look like to you? This is the ends of the potato that have the skin on it. What do they look like to you? French fries, right? That's exactly what we're going to use them for. Okay, like I said, we don't waste anything. All right, now, y'all know I have a toddler, Coop, Chef Kids Coop. I have a toddler, and guess what? He loves French fries. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to blanch these potato wedges. So see, I use the ends as wedges, and then the long part with the skin still attached to it, I'm going to use as French fries, right? So let's get these seasonings out the way so I can really show y'all. And those peas, I didn't forget about those peas. Those peas are drained, and that's going to be the last thing I put in before we put it into the pie, okay? So let's move this stuff out of the way because we already used all of that. So, okay, so boom. Like so, like that. And we letting that boil, all right? It's up high. We're letting it boil out. And then we're going to get rid of those dishes right there. So look, right here I have a crock pot. Oh, I don't know if y'all can see it. Hold on. I have my crock pot here, and it's full of water. And I actually need to pour some of the water out because it's too much. Some of that water out of there so I can put my potatoes in. But so yeah, in order to make crispy French fries, homemade French fries, you don't just fry the potatoes straight out. You have to blanch them, cool them, and freeze them. And then once you freeze them, it's just like the French fries from the bag. What you don't realize is those French fries that you get in the bag, the frozen French fries, they're already blanched. So that's why they come out crispy on the outside and really soft on the inside. Okay? They use a process called blanching. So let me get some of this water out of here so I can have room for my potatoes. Alright? And this is just a really quick process of heating your potatoes up and cooking them partially, and then cooling them quickly, right? So, here we go. I'm going to use this. Can y'all see my setup? Okay. Can y'all see the crock pot? Okay, y'all see the crock pot, right? My daddy gave me this crock pot, y'all. It's an old school crock pot, but it still works. That thing's still kicking, you hear me? So I use it, you know, and I'm grateful for it. All right, so you just take your French fries and you dump them in that hot water. All right, and this is called blanching. And what I'm going to do is make some nice ice cold water, because as soon as they come out of here, I'm going to put them in the ice water so that way they won't overcook. Okay, so let them go. Add a little bit of salt to the water. And give that like 3 minutes. They don't take long at all. And then pull them out with your tongs. Let's get some ice while we wait. But, so, I think y'all, if y'all comment and y'all tell me what other type of things, like, you know, if you want me to make a video about how to use your leftovers, and you have a specific leftover that you want to use and you have no idea what to do with it, just comment below the video. You know, what do I do with my leftover asparagus? What do I do with my leftover this or that, right? Something along those lines, so then I know the issues and then I'm able to help and assist. Okay? So I'm just breaking up my ice a little bit, y'all. Just a little bit. I got a big enough. I think I got a big enough chunk off of there. You know, see? Okay. I hope y'all can see everything. Okay. And here we go. Like that. Okay. So that's the ice that we're going to use. And how I do it is I put my potatoes down on top of the ice first, then I add the water because I have a small bowl, so I don't know how much room it's going to take up. Right? But how long has it been? It's probably been about a minute and a half. So we're going to give it at least another minute. And we're going to get our tongs ready. Okay, because the potatoes, again, they do not have to cook all the way through, but there are a few different sizes here. You know, these are true potato scraps, so I didn't go in and try and make an even size of them. So there's some of them are a little thinner than others. The potato wedges are pretty evenly cut because they're the ends, they're the butt of the potato. But these right here are the end cuts of the slices. So a few of them are thinner than other, right? Y'all see? I'm trying to make sure y'all can see the potatoes, right? Okay, so I hear some boiling happening in this pot, so let's check it out. Let's check it out. And where's my spatula? Hold on, buddy. Let mommy finish her video first, okay? All right. So I hear some boiling. All right. Looks good. Some of the turkey is still frozen, but at this point right here, I can turn the heat off because it's enough residual heat in this pot to go ahead and melt whatever ice is left in the turkey. But y'all, look at that. That looks great, right? Wow. That looks so good. That looks like turkey pot pie filling to me. How that look to y'all? Right? So I'm going to let that finish. And then when we pour this over into the pies, we're going to pull out the, because I can't see it right now, but we're going to remember to pull out the stem and the bay leaf. Okay, here's one bay leaf. I can pull that out now. But yeah, so that got all the flavor that we needed. All right, and I see there's some big pieces of, oh look, I see my other bay leaf. There's some big pieces of turkey in here, like larger pieces of turkey that I'm going to take out and cut those up before we pour them over into the pie, because we don't want too big pieces, too many large pieces that you can't enjoy the pie. Is that a bone? No, it's just a large piece of meat. So I'm going to pull those out and cut those up. But I think it's been 3 minutes here for these potatoes, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and pull them out. Let's check one. No, let's give it 1 more minute because it's on high. Let's give it 1 more minute. Let's give it 1 more minute. Because they seem a little hard, but that one that I checked was one of the thicker pieces. So I'm gonna keep my eye on it. All right, and so while I give that the French fries 1 more minute, I'm gonna go in with my tongs and my kitchen shears and grab those big pieces of turkey meat and just cut them like that. Okay, and make them a lot smaller. All right, the bigger pieces. Okay, chop them down, cut them down, make them a little smaller and easier to bite into when you're cutting the turkey pot pie. Okay, so it's a few pieces of larger pieces in here that I didn't realize I had. but that's okay. See, it's called adjusting. Okay, here it is. This look like a piece of thigh right here. Okay, so you just go in with your kitchen shears and your tongs and just cut it up. You feel me? Cut it up. Make it a lot smaller. Like so, like this. Like so, like this. Okay, so boom. Right? And I mean, I don't want it to be super, super small either, but you know, you don't want just those large, too big pieces in there. Alright, so let's see what it's looking like. Okay, that's another big piece that I can cut down. Okay. So yeah, that looks good. Oh, there's another piece. And just make it a little smaller. It's cool, no problem. And I think right now is a good time to go ahead and add the peas in here after I'm finished cutting up this meat. Go ahead and add the peas. I know y'all thought I forgot, but the peas have to be the last thing. So that way they're not too mushy. Okay. Alright, y'all. Okay, so boom. How long is this video? 26 minutes. Okay, I think that looks good. Oh, go ahead and pull out that. So see, all of the rosemary came off of the stem, but you still pull the stem out. And I think there's another half of bay leaf in here. Because look, this is only half. And I put 2 whole ones in there. So I got to find the other half of the bay leaf. It's in here. It's going to pop up. It's going to pop right out at us. Probably while we're pouring into the pie crust. Alright. But I'm going to add the peas. I've already drained them. So just add that in there. And see how small they are? So they really just move all throughout the filling. And they don't need more than 1 can. Okay? Because they're very small. They go all throughout. Y'all, this looks good. Now, this looks like a good pot pie right here. I don't care what nobody talking about. You hear me? Look, I found a few more larger pieces of the meat. So let's get in there and chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop, chop. Right? Like so, like this. But y'all, I'm going to make this a 30-minute video, and then I'm going to come back and fill up the pie crust. Alright? So, that's the pie crust right there. I mean, that's the pie filling, and then our part 3 is coming, and part 3 will be all about filling the pie crust and baking off the pies. Alright? Alright, I see another piece. Alright, so everything is in, y'all. Let's taste it. Yeah, this is a good point to taste it. Let's taste and see what we're getting into, okay? Let's get into it. The taste test, right? Smells really yummy. Oh, yeah. That is really good. And so, see, now I see where my flavor is. Now it's safe to add salt and pepper because everything is in. It has a lot of good flavor. It needs a little salt. And it needs a little pepper. Where is my pepper? Oh, here it is. A little pepper. Salt and pepper. That's it. Okay. And me, I am a big pepper fan. I love pepper. I love a lot of pepper. After I had my child, I was on a strict no salt diet, and pepper was my substitute. And so I used pepper in replace of salt, and I fell in love with it. I just understand the flavor of it now, and I need it in my life, right? So, okay, so boom. All right, y'all. So there it is, salt and pepper. Now I think these potatoes are ready. That's going to be the last thing for this video, doing the potatoes, and then the next part will be filling up the pie crust. Here we go. Let's do this. Pull out those potatoes. Put them in there on top of that ice. Like this. And they look good. See, they're not cooked all the way through. They're still pretty firm, which is what you want. You don't want it to be falling apart or soft at all. You just par cooking them, so that way when you fry them, they'll get nice and crispy. Alright, so this is what you want. This is exactly how you want it to be right here. Alright, like so, like that. Can y'all see?